Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Scarlet Spider Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse action figure. This thing, it is simultaneously one of the best things and worst things that has happened to the action figure industry, community, whatever you want to call it. It's such an absolute travesty, such a shame that this design was wasted on this figure by Bandai. It is absolutely nuts. There's so much good going on here that it is just, I really don't have words for it beyond what I've already said, but I feel like I need to say so much more about how wrong this situation is. This is my most anticipated figure in a long time. When they first showed it, I thought, heck yes, finally a Scarlet Spider that looks great. I don't care if it's technically from the movie, it looks like Scarlet Spider. And it has this cool stylization for paint, it has all these cool things, it has this wonderful look. It has to be great, right? Wrong. We're going to get into it, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's a fine package, very tiny window. Bandai's been doing that lately, weird. It's also a pretty not appealing package, generally bad looking. It has this terrible pose on it, which I thought was just Bandai doing a bad pose. I was hoping that's what it was. Turns out that's not what it was. Here's a non-pose here, here's a non-pose here. Yeah, it's not good packaging, honestly, which is kind of indicative of what's on the inside. Most times you can judge things from the outside. Alright, so this figure stands. He is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, by the way. I'll put a link in the description below. You probably don't want to get it, though. Alright, so he stands roughly, they said 6, I think it was 6.3 on the solicitation information. He's over 6.5 inches. He's like 6 5/8, and that's going to make him about, let's say 16.6 centimeters, give or take. Here he is up against Darwin, so he is too big. People were worried that he was going to be too big, and I was like, well, maybe, because some of their Spider-Verse figures are gigantic, but then it said 6, I think it was 6.3, it could have been 6.4, either way, less than 6.5 inches. I said, no, it's going to be fine. Bandai lied. That's just not what it is. It's taller, it's bigger than 6.5 inches. You could fudge it if you wanted to into your Marvel Legends or whatever. It's clearly not true 1/12 scale, but almost nothing is, so that's fine. But it is bigger than 6.5 inches, and it's not what they had listed, so that sucks. But let's do a question of the day. Do you guys like this kind of paint job? All the time, sometimes, never? What do you think? For me, I love it. I love it. I don't necessarily want it on everything, but sometimes, sure. Will it means the figures don't match? Yes, but I wouldn't mind like a whole line of figures looking like this, where they actually have the comic style shading. We'll look at this a little bit closer as we go, but I think it is glorious. I think it looks amazing, and it helps to bring the character to life in the way that we know it, so I like it. But let's get into it. Aesthetically speaking, this is probably one of the best silhouettes for an action figure we've seen in a very, very long time. It's a little bit stylized, but you do have the meatier thighs, the pinched in knees and ankles. You can see all the muscle groups from the silhouette. It doesn't just look like a tube sock with potatoes in it. It is really nice. His waist is narrower than his chest. His shoulders stick out. He has some shape for the traps. Granted, the hoodie helps, but still, everybody looks better in a hoodie. It looks nice. The head is the right size. The feet are small. Like, it looks exactly the way it should. It's really, really what you want it to be. And that's why I was so thrilled when they showed this. And I thought, surely articulation can't be as limited as it looks. Surely Bandai wouldn't ruin such an opportunity. But then they released Cyclops and about 30 other figures recently that have all been huge duds. And I thought, well, this is probably going right in the not as good as it should be pile. And that's where we're at. But let's get into the looks a little bit closer. You can see the paint job is actually pretty intricate. It's not just black, there's different shades going on, and that makes it come to life even more. And it's really everywhere. Like, they put it everywhere. It's not just on the fronts. It's not as limited as you would have expected. Figures don't get this amount of attention to detail ever anymore, especially with this amount of paint. It is very thoroughly done. I guess the only place it's not, well, there's a little bit on the front of the pouches. The pouches got skipped a little bit, I guess. I didn't notice that before, so I apologize. But otherwise, it's everywhere. It's even on the insides of the knees. So it's like they did a really good job going, they went with it. They went with this look. They said they were going to do it, and they did it. The head in particular, this is probably one of the best looking Spider-Man heads ever. The sculpt is simple, but they got the right shape. The eyes are sculpted on there. It's painted pretty cleanly. It is gorgeous. The way they did the tattered sleeves, it looks good. The paint job throughout looks amazing, other than, I guess, like I said, I found out this right here. But otherwise, it is great. It looks so nice. The sculpt is good. The paints are good. So far, this is like a 10 out of 10. It's just, we'll go 9.9 out of 10. You know, there's a little bit here and there. Like I said, the pouches are missing a little bit, but it looks fantastic. So freaking good. Let's get into the accessories. Alternate head. I don't think anybody would ever in their right mind put this on instead of the Spider-Man head, but if you want it, it is done well. It is done really well, except his face doesn't have the shading. Maybe that's how it was in the movie. I don't know. It could be the same thing for the pouches too. I don't know, but it's well done, other than the paint job is not continued on the head. For the hands, we have shading rather than the harsher paintwork for everything else, so you could definitely take off a little bit more if you wanted to for that. Everything else has the hard lines. There are different shades, but there's no feathering. There's no smooth transitions. It's all hard lines. The hands are all smooth transitions, so you could maybe not like that. You get the little wrist thing. It is also lacking a paint job, so don't care about that, but maybe it's not supposed to have it. Again, I don't know for sure. Then we have the web lines, which are just solid white, which don't look as good because they don't have any detailing on them, like no black wash or anything, but they are there. So I'll go 7 out of 10 for Bandai for this. The accessories are there, but they're not incredible in quantity or in effect, but they're fine. Now let's talk about the articulation, because honestly, if the figure looks good and it poses well, I don't care that much about the accessories as long as there's enough to get by. Unfortunately, whatever happened to Bandai recently is really tragic, because their whole thing was posability. It's supposed to pose. And I don't know if they've hired new people in charge or in the actual design department or what, but they have just really been cramming in crazy articulation that doesn't work, or crappy articulation that doesn't work. They have not been consistently good in quite some time, and this figure is the epitome of that. It's unspeakably bad, but we're going to speak on it, so let's talk about it. The head and neck move around pretty well. It's nothing crazy, but he can look up pretty well. He can look down, side to side. The ball pegs do what they're supposed to do. He's fine for the neck. So far, we're doing all right. He's looking good. He's posing well. That's fine. For the tattered sleeves, it's hard plastic. Odd choice, but they do butterfly. Not a ton, but they do butterfly going forward, and it's done pretty well. Doesn't look bad. A little bit in up and down. That's nice. Not as much up, but down some. So that's pretty good so far. No, it's nothing great, but it's fine. The shoulders, they went with the quasi-Revoltech look, which it just never looks as good as it should. But you can see, still semi-functional. Like, not semi, it's functional. It's doing all right. This being a hard plastic, terrible choice. But you can still move their arms around pretty well. But that butterfly serves no purpose because the little tatters get in the way. They didn't cut them off, and they didn't make them soft, so the butterfly's almost worthless. But still, we're still pretty functional. Like, there's nothing egregious here. You're probably thinking, well, this seems all right. We'll keep going. Bicep swivel is fine, no problems there. Double jointed elbow, actually pretty good looking elbow, decent range, no real issue there. Like, it could be a better looking elbow by a little bit, but it's fine. Wrists have the ball hinges, those are fine. And then we get to the torso. Guys, these were hard plastic. This is hard plastic too. But that's not even the whole problem, because not only is it hard plastic, it has basically no range. We'll start with the best. It can lean back that much, which is, it's whatever. Leaning back is fine. Can he lean forward? That would be nice for Spider-Man to do a crouching pose, to do almost anything else. Nope. He does not lean forward any farther than that. That is it. Side to side. It's okay a little bit. It's okay a little bit. Basically nothing. And then the waist twist. You would expect some sort of waist twist. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. And let me show you what they've done. They did their Bandai thing where they over-engineer the most basic of things. They put the ball peg really far forward, and they built this into it. I don't even know how you come up with an idea so bad when you've made torsos about 1,000 times. They probably have over 1,000 releases in the SH Figuarts line. I don't know if that's true, but it's got to be up there as a lot. Put the joint all the way in the front so it only works in one direction, and then hollow it out, but also put something in there to make sure it cannot move at all. This is absolutely insane. Forgot the belt. It is, I don't know how to describe accurately how I feel about this, because it is so impressively bad. You have to be trying. And then whatever they did up here, I can't pull it apart. I think it's just a ball peg, maybe a double, but putting it so high in there and with hard plastic around here, it actually has virtually no posability in the torso. It's absolutely insane. Now moving down to the legs, they're standard-ish. I mean, that's not good for Spider-Man, but it's good enough. Like, if everything else worked, you could probably get by on it. He kicks up to just better than horizontal, so there's nothing really wrong with it. They're a little loose, but not bad. They go back, honestly, all the way. Like, it's fine. Going out to the side, it's not the best situation. Obviously, Spider-Man should have better range, but again, it's fine. It would be totally acceptable if the torso wasn't absolute garbage. Get a thigh swivel in there, that works. Double jointed knee gives him a pretty good bend. Nothing really wrong there. Could be better, but it's fine. Proportioning's close enough to good, so that's fine. And then the ankles, they did their goofy ass ankles where they overcomplicate a ball hinge. Just make a freaking ball hinge, Bandai. What are you doing? Why are you putting sleeves over ball hinges? It just creates more lines. What the heck are you doing in that company? And he has very little range going forward. Just make an oblong ball hinge. Stop putting sleeves over them for no reason. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ankle rocker is okay. Then the toe hinge is tiny and way too far forward. So that's pretty goofy. Yeah, his articulation, it would have been acceptable if it wasn't for the fact that the torso is complete garbage. It is insane how garbagey it is. I cannot get over it. Everything else works at least well enough. It's fine. But the torso is so bad it ruins the figure entirely. The hip's not great, acceptable. The torso ruins it completely. For a Spider-Man figure, he can't do any of the poses. Not really. Articulation rating 2 out of 10 because of the torso. Everything else, even if the torso was just as good as everything else, it would have been like a 7, which is perfectly acceptable, but not good. This is bad. I cannot get over how much they ruined such an otherwise amazing figure. Now here's the thing. Yes, he's a little bit too tall, but he is still gorgeous. So if you want this figure just because you want to put him in a hero pose, it's expensive for a hero pose figure, especially a Spider-Man. It still looks absolutely phenomenal. So I have to say that. It is very important to note, it looks great. If you're not going to pose the figure, this is the one for you. If there's ever been a figure that looked good but didn't pose well, it's this. It's phenomenal looking, but everything else really falls short. Even the accessories aren't impressive. Very, very, very disappointing. I will be reviewing the Mess Toys third-party bootleg version of this guy. It's not this guy, it's the Revoltech body with the soft goods, but still, I'll be reviewing that. It doesn't have any of this shading, but you could do this yourself. I mean, it's not easy, but it's relatively easy to do something like this, because it doesn't really matter if you mess it up, but this is such a shame. Yeah, so if you only care about looks, you win. But otherwise, I'm going to give it an overall rating of 3 out of 10. You can't make a Spider-Man figure that has this stupid of a design. The engineering is... It's the most offensive engineering I think I've ever seen. It's pretty ridiculous. So, let me know what you guys think, but I'll be done there. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, why does his ankle keep rotating forward? Stop doing that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos just about every single day, and I do have thousands of videos already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.